Great. So you can feel free to get started in a comfortable place on your mat. If you have 2 blocks available and you want to take full heart bench, you can have one block at sort of the middle height and one at the highest height. And the one that's at the highest height, it hits you usually about where your bra kind of touches your back. And then the other block can come just underneath the head, opening up the heart like this. Here, if you only have one block at home, I like it on the lowest height, just supporting the chest, allowing the lungs, allowing the chest to expand. If you just have a pillow at home, same choice here. You can take your pillow and just lie it here, just kind of so you're opening up the throat, letting the neck be nice and long, and letting the head fall down to the ground. So any of those options, whatever feels good in your body, and taking a moment to find stillness. So maybe it feels better to bring the soles of the feet to touch and allowing the arms to fall out to the side body. Today you can turn your palms up towards the ceiling. And just take a few rounds of breath here, letting the focus come into the body. And we'll begin to develop the breath there. You can stay just as you are. I'm just going to move a little bit so I can talk a little bit more freely. So the focus for tonight's practice is this idea of bending and not breaking. And another way I can kind of think about that is faith, but also flexibility. So some of you have probably heard me tell this story before, the story of my dog Muppet. But I think it definitely bears repeating, and I think it always is a good reminder to me of the importance of being flexible. So about 10 years ago, I was in the process of adopting a dog. And I had in my mind that I really wanted a black female Cairn Terrier. I had loved The Wizard of Oz as a child, and I thought that I was Dorothy, and so I needed to have the perfect dog to accompany me. And so I'd gone through this whole vetting process to adopt a dog. My doggy matchmaker had called me Thursday evening to say that they were considering me for several black Cairn Terriers. And then Friday, during the day, I went out during my lunch break in the summer, and I walked down the street and found, lo and behold, a little white male dog. So he was not the color I wanted, he was not the gender I wanted. But as many of you know, Muppet has become the absolute perfect dog, the best companion. So I think I try to bring this story kind of back to my mind to remind myself that I think I often know what I'm looking for, but I'm usually wrong, right? So right now I think I know exactly what I'm looking for. I think I know exactly the job that I want and where I want to be, but just trying to be open to what the universe has in front of me. So today, as we practice, I encourage you to both have faith in what is to come, but then also being flexible, not being so caught up in your desires or your wants that you're not open to other possibilities. We'll take 2 more rounds of breath here. And as you're ready, begin to plant the soles of your feet on the earth, and then gently lift your hips up, moving the props over to the side. So if you have blocks or a book, a pillow underneath you, that can come off to the side of the mat. And you can return to your back. You can begin to hug everything in, finding a tight little ball, and then just rocking from side to side. With your next round of breath, you can begin to come up, and we'll make our way right into a tabletop shape here. So moving through a few rounds of cat-cow, allow the belly to soften, the chest shines forward, gaze high. Exhale, tuck the tailbone, press the ground away. Look back towards the feet. Inhale, chin up, chest up, seat up. And then exhale, angry cat. 2 more rounds on your own breath. Taking any other movements to feel good in your body. And with our next round of breath, we'll begin to take some gentle hip circles. So allow the right knee to come forward, and then we'll swing it over to the right side body, kind of up and around, big clockwise motion. 2 more breaths here. And then swinging the direction in the opposite way. So this time coming counterclockwise for 3 breaths. Try and keep both arms as straight as you can. And my left elbow always wants to bend a little. Extend your right leg out long, so off the side of your mat. Hopefully you're not kicking your animals at home. And then just come to stand up on the left leg. So the whole foot is planted on the right side. And then we'll begin to let the body reach over. So my right hand slides down the right leg, and I'm gazing up underneath the left armpit. Take 3 breaths here, stretching out the left side body. And returning, coming back to your mat, you're gonna take 1 more round of cat-cow. I'm just gonna switch my view here. And then with your next breath, lifting that left knee to hover up off the earth. This time taking circles in the counterclockwise direction first. So they're going out 3, 2, and 1. Moving in the opposite direction. So the circles are coming in for 3, 2, and 1. Extend your left leg over to the side so the full left foot is planted. And then come to stand up on that right knee. Sweep the right arm over, left hand slides down the left leg. Continue to breathe here. And we'll return to our tabletop shape, making our way through cat-cow. Tuck your toes behind you. Begin to lift the hips up towards the ceiling. First downward facing dog of the day. So let your head be really heavy here. Shake the head, yes. And no. And then step your feet in just about 1 footprint. Anywhere that you can let your heels press down into the earth, we're gonna take some side body stretches. So ground down through the right hand and reach the left hand underneath, grab onto the outside of the right leg and pull your head into the right armpit as much as you can. Hello, kitty cat. Hold here for 30 breaths. With your next breath, release the left palm down, maybe pedal out the feet. And we'll take that on the opposite side. So lift that right hand up, reach the outside of the left leg. We are not gonna play with that pen right now. Sorry, distract the kitten. And then bring the head into the left armpit, 3 breaths. Send the heels away from you so the feet are really heavy in the mat. And then bring the hands back down to the earth. You can begin to step forward, coming to a ragdoll shape at the top of the mat. So grab for opposite elbows here. Really let the upper body be heavy. Bring a little more weight into the balls of the feet. So heels are still planted, but just think about drawing the belly closer to the thighs. A little rock from side to side. Let the hamstrings open nice and slow. And as you're ready, we can begin to draw the toes together. Inhale, find a flat back, gaze forward. See if you can walk the fingers a little bit down the shins. Shift a little more weight into the front of the feet. Hamstrings continue to open. Exhale, fold deeper, maybe bend the knees. One more flat back, gaze forward. Think about pressing the collarbones back. Exhale, deepest fold. Ground down through the feet, reach up, rise up. And then hands can come to heart center. We'll move into classical sun salutation. So inhale, arms reach. Exhale, hinge, fold all the way down. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, plant the hands, step the right foot back. Drop the right knee and tuck the toes. Inhale, arms reach high. So if it doesn't feel good to have the arms reaching high here, they can always come to rest on the left thigh. Just make sure that we have the left knee stacked over the heel. Finding the stretch in the front of the hip flexor of the right leg. One more breath. Hands spring out the foot. Step your left foot back, Phalangasana, drop knees, chest, and chin come onto the belly. We'll take a cobra pose here. Hands right under the shoulders. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, allow the body to come back down to the earth. Tuck the toes behind you. We'll find our downward shape facing dog. Take your time to get there. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, right leg reaches high. Bend that right knee, step it through. The left knee comes down, toes untucked. Inhale, arms reach. Again, 3 rounds of breath here. Same option before if it feels good to drop the hands to the front leg. With your next breath, hands come to the top of the mat, back toes tuck, step the left foot forward. Inhale, gaze forward. Exhale, fold down. Heels press, arms reach high, gaze high. Hands return to heart center. We'll take it on the left side with a variation. Inhale, reach. Exhale, hinge, fold down. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, slash the hands down, step the left foot back. Drop the left knee, untuck the toes. From here, we'll inhale, reach the right arm high. So just a gentle twist. We take this a lot. Maybe it feels good to just kind of gaze up at that right thumb. If that's available in your neck, I encourage you to take it. Otherwise, gaze down towards the right big toe. With our next breath, the right hand comes down, tuck your back toes, high plank. Knees, chest, and chin, elbows squeeze in. Inhale. Cobra. Tuck the toes, hips up, down dog. Full breath here, nice and slow. Inhale, left leg high. Bend the knee, step it through. Right foot down, toes untuck, arms reach, find that length. And then right hand comes to the mat or a block. Left arm reaches high. Again, gaze up towards the ceiling if that's available. With your next breath, the left hand plants, and we'll begin to step our back foot forward. Inhale, nice 90-degree angle. Exhale, Uttanasana. Ground down through the feet, reach up, rise up. High prayer, pull it down to heart. We'll move into sun salutations in A. So I like my toes together, a little gap in my heels. If you prefer a wider stance, feel free to take that. Inhale, reach up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hinge fold. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, plant the hands, step back. High plank down to low with the exhale. Inhale, upward facing dog or baby cobra. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. We'll be here for 5 breaths. We're gonna take a little bit of a longer hold in our down dog to build some strength, to build some endurance. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Ease forward, step or float up top. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. Ground down, reach, rise. Hands return to heart center, another just like that. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back, gaze forward. Exhale, plant the hands, step or float back. You can stick with knees, chest, chin if that feels like a better option. Inhale to your back bend. Exhale, hips lift, 5 breaths. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. The feet come to the top of the mat. Lengthen through the spine. Exhale, deep fold. Root to rise, and hands return to prayer. We'll take one more sun salutation in A. Inhale, reach. Exhale, swan dive. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, plant the hands, Chaturanga Dandasana. Lift the heart and lift the hips. Again, 5 breaths here, trying to find stillness in the body. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. You can bend the knees, maybe you step or hop up top. Inhale, nice long spine. Exhale, your deepest fold, Uttanasana. Heels pressed on, arms reach high. We'll come right into 2 forward folds. So find a little bit of space in between the feet. If you need to grab some water here, feel free. So we'll come into yogi toe lock first, about 2 fist distance between the feet. Inhale, reach up. And exhale, fold forward. So I like to wrap my peace sign fingers around the big toes, palms point in, and then bend my knees, allow my chest to come and rest on my thighs. A little more weight in the front of my feet. So even though my heels are still planted, a really kind of nice forward action here. Like I'm imagining I'm going to tip over. Hopefully I will not do so. Let your head be heavy. Take another 3 breaths. With your next round of breath, release your hands from your feet. Inhale, find a nice flat back, and we'll go right back down, finding Pada Hastasana or Gorilla Pose. So if you're sliding your hands under your feet, you want the toes to tickle the backs of the wrist. I know for me, they always kind of press up against my watch band. So just make sure that the entirety of the hand is covered by the foot. Again, head is really heavy. You can have a deep bend in the knees. If you can easily get your knees straight while keeping thighs pressed to belly, maybe you begin to bend into the arms to pull this a little bit deeper. Try to relax the shoulders away from the ears. Another 3 breaths. With your next inhale, begin to gaze forward. Keep the hands under the feet. So I think this always feels nice in the shoulders and the back body. 1 more breath. Now release the hands from the feet. Bring your feet a little bit wider and we'll come right into Malasana or Yogi Squat. So We can bring the hips nice and low here. If you feel like you need to sit on something and you have your block or book nearby, you can always sit up on that if this feels like not a comfortable posture for you. We're just going to begin to stretch out the hips. So some of the shapes we're going to tonight require really open hips. It's not our peak pose. Our peak pose is camel, but I just wanted to make you aware that we want to have the hips open. So we'll hang here for another 5 breaths. If this is too easy, draw the toes parallel and bring the feet closer together. You can always bring the hands to a fist for more of a challenge. And then as you're ready, plant the hands, make your way back to downward facing dog. If you'd like to take your vinyasa here, feel free to do so. Rippling forward, high plank, exhale down. Inhale, upward facing. Exhale, press back. Just gonna move that out of the way. And then from here, we can inhale, lift our right leg high. Fan the hip open, just beginning to kind of find some hip opening here. Maybe it feels good to circle the knee or circle the ankle. And then as you're ready, bring that right foot back down to the earth and drop your knees. We're going to come into a tabletop. All right, so our first pose here is a kneeling shavasana or a kneeling half moon. Options here. So swing your left leg over to the side, let your right foot reach towards the rear of the mat. You could just stay here for a low side plank. If this feels okay, float that right foot up, flex the toes, reach the right arm high. If that feels easy too, reach back, grab onto the foot. Stay for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release everything down. Beautiful, take a cat-cow here. With your next breath, kick your right leg up and then tightly crunch your right knee in. Bring the knee toward your nose or your forehead, step it through. So we're coming back into low lunge or Anjaneyasana. If you need to wiggle that foot forward, feel free to do so. Sweep the arms high. Right, so we're back in our low lunge. Maybe it feels better now that you've warmed up just a bit. Keep your left toe untucked. The shoelace part of the foot is pressing down into the earth. And then from here, we're going to pulse up. Inhale up for 3. Let that knee drop back down. 2. And 1. So we're stretching out the ankle, the front of that foot. Beautiful. Bring your left hand down, reach your right arm high. Finding that gentle twist again, take another 3 breaths here. And as you're ready, bring your right hand down. You're going to come onto the ball of your left foot, and we're going to step to a side plank. So bringing the right hand down to the earth, reaching the left hand high. You can either keep it as it is, reaching for the ceiling, or reach out in front of you and maybe take a leg variation. We'll be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring both hands down to the earth, vinyasa through, chaturanga. Back bend. Hips lift high, full round of breath. Inhale, sweep the left leg high, fan that hip open. Take anything you did on the first side. So if knee circles or hip circles felt good, stick with that. 1 more breath. Left foot returns to the earth. Both knees come down. We come back to our tabletop shape. Beautiful. So we're coming into that kneeling shavasana or side plank, your choice. Swing the right leg over to the side. Right hand stays as it is. Left hand to hip. Maybe it feels okay to reach it high, coming right into side plank. Or maybe we can come into kneeling half moon or shavasana. So back bend and quad stretch, depending on where you feel comfortable. Again, we'll be here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release everything back down to the earth. Cat, cow. With your next breath, we lift that left leg up behind us, kind of like kicking someone, like a mule, and then draw the left knee in towards your nose. Quietly step it through. If it needs to wiggle a little further, feel free. So in our Anjaneyasana, we can reach our arms high. Give yourself a moment to settle here, keeping the back right foot down, and then just lifting that right knee up, pulsing for 3, 2, and 1. Release back down, right hand to the earth, left arm comes high. The closer you walk the right hand into the left foot, the deeper the twist becomes. With our next breath, our left hand comes down, and we're going to step both the feet back, coming into left side plank. So options along the way here, if you feel like you need a supported plank. Otherwise, reaching high with that right hand. Maybe the right hand reaches overhead and you take a variation for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Take a vinyasa if you'd like, or meet in down dog. In your down dog, take a full round of breath. We'll take an open mouth exhale here, releasing the hot air. Inhale. And beautiful. With our next round of breath, beginning to shift forward, finding a high plank. As slowly or as quickly as you want, we're going to lower down to the belly. So setting up for a few rounds of lotus. We're also going to come into half bow. So for our first variation, you can begin to reach the hands down by the side body. Chin can come to the earth. If that doesn't feel comfortable, forehead can rest on the mat. Zip up the legs behind you so you have a nice long tail. Toes are untucked here. Inhale. Exhale, sigh out the breath. On an inhale, press down through the hands, lift just the feet up. Lift up the chest. So the middle of the body presses into the mat, and both ends kind of lift up, sort of like you're on a little seesaw. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release, find your favorite cheek. All right, for our next option, we'll float both the hands and the feet. Inhale. Exhale, breath comes out. Inhale, float the hands, float the feet. Chest and head lift up, gaze forward and down. Nice soft face. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release back down. Beautiful. Plant the hands underneath these shoulders here. And we're going to come into a up dog. But don't quickly go to down dog. So in your up dog shape, you can see my thighs are hovering up off the mat. Hopefully you can see that. What I want you to do is kind of bend into your elbows, let the hips and thighs touch back down. We're going to do that 3 more times. 3, come back down, kind of an up dog push up. 2, and 1. Flip your toes behind you, press your hips high. Beautiful. And then as you're ready, reach your right leg high. Step your right leg forward. We'll find a crescent lunge. We'll be here for 3 breaths. So I like to have that left leg nice and straight. If it feels more comfortable to have a gentle bend in the left knee, feel free to take that. And with your next breath, drop your left hand out in front of you and let your right arm reach back. So a closed twist, you're twisting over to the front leg. Stay here, 3, 2, and 1. Radiate this crescent lunge. Let the right hand come down to the leg, the left arm reaches high. You need to drop the back leg. Feel free, 3 breaths. And then from here, we're still in this crescent. Allow the arms to hover. So we're taking this Superman shape, coming forward, hold for 3, 2, and 1. You bring the hands back down. We're gonna walk the foot over to the right side, coming into lizard lunge. So I mentioned we're gonna do lots of hip stuff. If you wanna stay here in an active lizard, feel free. I know some of you guys were with me last week when we did flying lizard. And if you wanna play with flying lizard here, taking that bind, that's also a nice option. But otherwise, just coming into a gentle sleeping lizard. So I love my block here, lining up my elbows with the heel of my right foot. So since this is a deep stretch, we'll stay here for about 8 breaths. Just try to gaze slightly forward of the mat. Remember, stay with the breath. So the idea of flexibility is applicable to our yoga practice as well, because sometimes our body does not go where we want it to, right? So I always like to think, one day my forearms will touch the earth in this pose. But the true yoga is just accepting where my body is and being flexible, allowing my body to be just in the shape, just in the place it is at this moment. Two more breaths here. And as you're ready, you can move that block out of the way. Grab one. Hands can plant at the front of the mat, and we'll lift that right leg high, finding down dog split. If you'd like to fan the hip open or flip your dog, feel free to do so. We'll take about 3 breaths here. And then as you're ready, just meeting in our down dog shape, feel free to take a vinyasa if you'd like one. And then from your down dog, we'll just return to our locust shape. So bringing the belly down to the earth, you can do a slow drop down if you like, building that chaturanga spring, your choice. All right, you can stick with any of the variations from before, or maybe it feels good to interlace the hands behind the low back, just like you would in a humble warrior. Chin or forehead can come back to the earth. Inhale, and exhale. Inhale, draw the toes together, lift the feet high. Pull the fist away from you, lift it up off the seat. Soft face, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release back down. All right, we're gonna take half bow poses here. So we'll take our left arm out in front of us. And then you can reach your right hand back, grabbing onto the outside of the right leg. So I kind of like to have my left hand sort of a like, not sure what angle this is. We'll say that's like 11 o'clock because we're on a watch here. Perfect. All right, from here, inhale. Exhale, sigh out. Inhale, kick the foot into the hand. You can bring a little bit of weight into that left forearm, into that left elbow. If it feels okay to lift that left toe as well, feel free to do so. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release back down. We're going to keep it on the other side before we take full bow. So then this time, my right hand reaches out. It's probably about the 1 o'clock, right? Hope I'm like giving you guys appropriate times. All right, chin or forehead back down to the earth, grabbing onto the left foot, trying to draw the knees back together. Inhale. Exhale, release. Inhale, kick the foot into the hand. Maybe the right foot floats up just a little bit too. Press down into the right elbow, into the right forearm. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release. You can stick with any of those variations. You can just find rest for a moment. If you'd like full bow, feel free to take it. So for full bow, grabbing for the outsides of the feet, you can grab onto the ankles if that feels more stable. And then draw the knees back together. Chin returns to the earth, deep breath. On your inhale, you can lift the body up. Maybe pointing the legs feels good, or flexing might be preferable today. Your choice. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release everything down. Windshield wiper the legs. Come to rest on your favorite cheek. And we'll take those up dog pulses again. So bringing the hands just underneath the shoulders. Finding those nice straight arms. The thighs are lifted, kind of finding that gentle back bend. Up and down. 3, 2, and 1. Flip over the feet, down dog. Sweep your right leg high, fan that, or your left leg high rather. Fan the hip open. And then we'll set up for our crescent lunge. Left leg comes forward. Right leg can be nice and straight and strong, or that little bend if it feels better in your low back. So your choice, we're on the ball of the right foot. 3 breaths here. And as you're ready, coming into that twist, right hand out in front of you, left hand behind you. So closed twist, really making sure you're scissoring the legs, they're nice and tight. 3 breaths. Radiant twisted crescent. Left hand to your back leg, right arm reaches high, maybe gaze up at the hand. 3 breaths. And then bringing the hands down, chest comes to the thigh, that kind of cart, that Superman shape, staring down at the left big toe. 3 breaths. Hands plant to the inside of the left foot wiggles over. We take our lizard lunge on this side. So on this side of the body, maybe the forearms can come down to the earth. But again, we want to have the elbows lined up with the heel of the foot. As you're ready, begin to return to the hands, tuck the right toes behind you, left leg reaches high. The hip can fan open, or you can take a flip dog. 3 breaths wherever you're going. Just take the same option you found on the first side. And then as you're ready, we'll return to our down dog shape. You can take a vinyasa here with me. And from here, returning to down dog. So grounding through your left foot and reach the right foot high. Walk your hands back towards your left foot. So an odd way to come into standing split, but you can do it, you're super strong. Try to flex the right toes down towards the earth. Stay for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring your hands to heart center. If your right foot taps down, it's okay. Coming into warrior 3 for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Leave that right foot up, bring it into the chest. And then eventually we're gonna set up for dancers, but with a flipped grip. So what I mean by that is usually I reach for the inside of my foot. Today, because I'm prepping for camel, I'm reaching for the outside. So a little strange, but find whatever dancer shape you can on this side. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Big step forward with the right leg. Coming back into your crescent lunge. We're just here for a moment, it's just a transition. 1 round of breath. Drop your left knee down, untuck the left toes. We're in a low lunge in Anjaneyasana. This should be familiar. And we'll shift the hips back, setting up for half split. You can begin to walk the fingers forward, or you can keep the hands on the hips and just think about finding a nice flat back, your choice. Let the upper body come closer to the leg. Maybe the forehead comes close to the knee. Another 3 breaths here. And as you're ready, you can begin to come back into that Anjaneyasana. From here, we're gonna just sweep our right leg back and just come to our knees. So if we were on the second side, you could take this right into a deeper camel, but right now I'm just gonna have you guys take your kind of a gentle camel warm up, as that's our peak pose. So you can bring your hands so the fingers point up and the thumbs press together. You can also bring your pointer fingers together if that feels like a more stable place to be. And then place that shape at your low back, right? So fingers are pointing up towards the sky. Tuck the toes if that feels like a comfortable option. And then thinking about sending the hips forward, let the head fall back. We'll just stay here for a moment, 3 breaths. Begin to come back up slowly. You can just sit back on your heels. No need to fold over and take a child's pose. Just let the breath settle. Maybe invite the eyes to close here, and we'll take that on the other side in a moment. With your next breath, hands walk out in front of you. We'll find that sequence on our opposite side. So with your next breath, ground down through the right foot, lift the left leg up. Hands slowly walk back to frame out the right leg. Left toes flex, they point down towards the earth. We're here through 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Hands come to heart center. Come into warrior 3. If your foot drops, don't sweat it. And no one's going down today. There we go. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Draw the left knee in. Try to keep that foot lifted. Right arm reaches high. The flip grip dancer. Usually we grab the inside of the foot. Tonight we're grabbing the outside of the foot to prep us for our full camel. Chest can reach forward, leg can reach back. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Big step forward with that left leg. So coming into crescent lunge, feel free to wiggle that left leg forward. Inhale, arms reach. Full round of breath. Then the right knee drops, the toes untuck. All right, beautiful. We're in our Anjaneyasana low lunge here. And then we're gonna find our half split. So shift the hips back. Hands can stay on the earth, maybe tented fingers for a little more space, or hands at hips. Again, we don't want to go anywhere that feels unsafe. So just make sure you are aware of what feels good in your body and what feels painful. We don't want pain in this practice. Another 2 breaths. And as you're ready, begin to bend back into that left knee. And then bring that left knee back to meet the right. We're gonna come into a deeper variation of our camel pose. So I just like to use my block here to find it between my knees, just to kind of encourage my knees to squeeze together and make sure they're not too close. Options here, you can tuck your toes behind you. You can come to bring your hips against a wall if you know you have a tendency to drop the hips back in this back bend. But otherwise, I like to reach back one hand at a time. So one hand reaching for the right foot, left arm reaching high, falling back. Slowly begin to come back up. We can take that on the other side. So my toes are still tucked behind me. I'm not sure if you can see that, but they're tucked just to bring my feet a little bit higher up. This time, left hand comes back. Right arm reaches high, so the half camel head drops. 5 breaths. Slowly begin to come back up. And maybe we take a full camel here. So I'd encourage you first to take it with toes tucked. If you know you can go somewhere with toes untucked, feel free. If having the block between the legs doesn't feel good, just walk your knees out just a tiny little bit. That'll make sure that you have a nice wide stance. So going into your deepest camel, we'll be here for 5 breaths. You'll notice my hips sink back, so I have to make sure I consciously press them forward. And slowly beginning to come back up, we'll come to rest, sitting on our heels. Maybe bringing the hands to rest, palms facing down on the thighs, the eyes closed. Just taking a seated meditation for a few breaths. With your next round of breath, you can begin to make your way into an inversion. So the inversion that I'm going to demo this evening is a rabbit pose because it's really easy to come into from where we are. So rabbit pose, you're going to bring the top of your head as close to your knees as you can get it. So from here, grabbing onto the outsides, the back of my heels, letting the top of my head rest down on the earth. I usually like to find that by lining up the palm of my hand or the heel of my hand with my eyebrows, and then reaching up with my middle finger. Where your middle finger hits is not only where you would put your weight for rabbit pose, but also where you would put it for Shirsasana or headstand. If you have classical headstand in your practice, feel free to go there, but otherwise we'll just take this with rabbit, stretching out the back body. We can all meet in our child's pose. The knees can come wide, the forearms, the forehead can come to rest on the mat. Maybe you walk your fingers out a little bit further, finding active arms, letting the elbows hover up off the earth. And slowly beginning to come back up. So we'll set up for fire logs. So also this is called double pigeon. If you have a block or pillow nearby, that might be helpful. So just find which way you usually comfortably sit in Sukhasana or easy seat. So I know for me, my left leg is always in front. And then from here, what I want to do is stack my legs like 2 pieces of wood. So I have my left foot now on top, and I'm trying to put my left heel just on top of my right knee and get my left knee just on top of my right heel, really actively flexing through the feet. This is a really deep hip stretch. So it might feel good to put a block, a pillow in between the knee and the foot below it. If this feels okay, maybe you can begin to walk the upper body forward, getting into the hips even more. So this might be super painful, and if so, go back to your breath. Stay with it, 2 more breaths. Beginning to come back up, excellent job. All right, so move that prop out of the way, and then this way, the one that feels a little funny in Sukhasana. So for me, I never have my left leg or my right leg in front, usually because this is my tighter hip. So I'm going to put this leg on top. You can notice already there's a lot more space between my knee and my foot, and that's because this hip is so much tighter. So flexing through my right foot, trying to get it just on top of that knee joint, and then trying to get my left heel lined up with my right knee. Again, if putting a block or a little pillow, maybe a big pillow, underneath that knee feels good, do that. And then maybe again, beginning to crawl the upper body forward. Breathe, just trying to send some of the breath to the hips. Maybe close the eyes, 3 breaths. Beginning to come back up. You can move your props out of the way, any clothes or blocks you may have, and we'll begin to come down onto the back. Just gently flushing out the hips, taking a few rounds of bridge into wheel. So we'll take 3 rounds here. If you'd like to take bridge, bridge, wheel, or any other combination, feel free to go there. So I stretch my hands down in the direction of my heels. I can touch my heels, but I like a little more space, so I move the feet 1 more footprint away. Palms press down, heels press down, hips lift up, hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Release back down. Going into the next back bend, lift the hips, maybe shimmy the arms underneath the body, interlacing the fingers like you would in a humble warrior, or as we did tonight in locust. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Bring it back down. Last opportunity for a back bend. Maybe you want to go to wheel. So I know for wheel, I always like to find my feet a little bit wider. It just gives me a more firm foundation. I like to come up to my crown of my head first. But if you feel comfortable just going all the way up, feel free. As you're ready, press down. And then lift up. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We'll all meet in Supta Baddha Konasana. The soles of the feet come together. 1 hand to the belly and 1 to the heart. Inhaling for the count of 3, 2, and 1. Exhaling for the count of 3, 2, and 1. Inhale for the count of 4, 3, 2, and 1. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And as you're ready, let the knees come back to center. We'll take our supine twist, so you can either let the legs drop over to the left side, or maybe cross that right leg over, really tightly cross it like an eagle pose, and then allow the legs to fall. Just a little deeper twist. The right hand can come out to the side. Maybe you gaze towards the fingers or close the eyes. Slowly beginning to unwind, uncross the legs. Maybe just let them sway from side to side, and we'll take that to the opposite side. Left arm stretches out long. The left leg crosses over in tight eagle legs, and allow the knees to fall to the right side. You're gazing over towards the left palm. And with your next breath, begin to unwind. The legs can return to center. You can hug everything into a tight little ball, rock from side to side. Notice how the body feels different. Is the breath a little slower? Has the mind chatter calmed down? And then drawing yourself into your tightest ball. Head lifts up off the mat, knees drawing into the nose. Sip in a little more breath, and then slowly releasing out into your Shavasana shape. For traditional shape, legs can extend out long, toes falling out to the side. Maybe you can nod the head yes and no. Just making sure you feel fully supported on the mat here. Hands can be down by the side body, palms facing up. Or maybe just letting one hand rest on the heart and one on the belly. If the low back is sensitive, feel free to plant the feet, finding a slight tilt of the pelvis, and just letting the lumbar spine release down into the earth. We'll spend the next few moments here in silence for rest and for peace. And slowly beginning to reawaken the body. Just letting little movements come into the fingers and the toes, rolling out the ankles and the wrists. And then inhale, reach the arms overhead. Roll over to your favorite side. Take a moment here to find gratitude that you have a body capable of yoga asana practice. Maybe gratitude that you are safe, you are healthy. And as you're ready, beginning to make your way up to a comfortable seat, taking whatever shape that means in your body. Sukhasana doesn't feel like a safe place to be. Feel free to take any other seated pose. You can allow the hands to come and rest on the knees here, returning to your intention if you set one. And that you're just returning to that idea of flexibility and faith. Not being so caught up with your needs, your desires, that you're unable to see the possibilities, the potential in the rest of your life, in the rest of the world. With your next breath, bring the hands together at heart center. We'll close out our practice with a single sound of Om, the sound of all living things. Inhale deeply. Exhale, side up. Inhale for Om. With your next breath, the thumbs can come to the third eye center, the place between the eyebrows, the place of insight. The light and the teacher inside me honors the light and the teacher inside you. Thank you so much for sharing your breath, your energy, and your practice with me. Namaste. All right, let me unmute you guys.